Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drink and Think podcast. I'm your host, Jared, and with me is my co-host,
Adam.
So, frankly, what we're going to cover is three topics, and the three topics that we have this week are, frankly, that's just your opinion. The other one is Fit Fest, and the last one is What the Duck. So, the first one is, frankly, that's just your opinion. This is where we talk about movies, TVs, basically whatever we're feeling this week, what we like, what we don't like. And so, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get started with that. So, you are very interested, you have a very high opinion of Elon Musk and Tesla. So,
Yes, I do. Now, to start off, I mean, as you can see in the stock markets are hitting a natural, or unnatural high, which they haven't seen in a long or forever, which people are like, oh, this is just a fit for right now, and it's going to get hit and go straight down. As the opinion section, I love Tesla. Tesla is just like my dream that I want to have someday. I want to have a Tesla.
Is it just Elon Musk and Tesla, or is it the car? Like, is there something specific that you like about the car so much?
Well, okay, so originally it was just the car, and the car was the thing that attracted me. I was like, oh, there's no way an electric car can be this fast.
Right.
This technically fuel efficient, but and then when you do more research into it, or at least I did, you start to notice that this guy is a legit genius. He first came out with electric car, came out with it, started hitting the market.
It didn't start off well, did it, at all?
No, it didn't. But once it started getting good, it wasn't enough for him. So therefore, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna do solar panels, or for example, he just wants to get into software.
Right.
Next thing you know, he's like, oh, I got this electric car and software. Still not enough. I'm gonna do self-driving. So
right.
Therefore, self-driving car. Therefore, next thing you know, it just turns into more and more of, oh, I got this self-driving car. New cars coming out. I got this new truck coming out that looks awesome, I think.
Right.
It took a second to filter in and be like, I don't know if I like it, but now it's like, oh, I really want it.
Are you talking about the new electric truck that they have? The thing that looks like a block, like a brick. It literally has so hard. You like it?
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about it because I
don't
saw
know a person that doesn't. Well, okay. At first, there was a lot of people that was like, I don't like it.
Yeah, because it looks like something out of a 64-bit game from back in 1990 or something.
The thing is a literal made out of rocket ship material.
Okay, but also in that same presentation at that conference, whatever that they were having with Elon Musk, the presenter was supposed to throw a metal ball or something at the window, and it was supposed to be bulletproof window, and it cracked the glass.
Put this. Okay, you have to listen to me on this one because.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, hear this: they don't spend any money on advertising. They don't spend $1 in advertising.
Well, yeah, it's just by word of mouth.
Exactly. So they took a video before the segment of the same ball, the same everything, throwing at the glass, not breaking. Now, whenever they go out on the stage and they throw it, of course they're expecting people to be like, oh my god, this unbreakable glass just broke. Look at this.
So it's a publicity stunt, basically.
It is exactly. Because he is, I'm going back to, he's such a genius. He knows that people are going to be like, oh, yeah.
There's going to be more hype for it if they claim something and it doesn't do the something that it claimed to do.
Exactly. Therefore, he knows that it's going to get more publicity. Okay. Just think, if that thing did not break, how many people would have actually, a lot of people would have heard of it, but there would be a lot of people that wouldn't have heard about it if.
Because people would have just been like, oh, it's a bulletproof glass. It did what it's supposed to do. But the fact that it's you heard, that was all I heard about for a while was there's this bulletproof glass on this new Elon Musk Tesla truck, and it didn't do what it was supposed to do. It was all over Twitter and everything. So, I get that part, that it's kind of a publicity stunt because you're saying, yeah, there's this thing that's supposed to do something, and then it didn't end up doing it. So it's yeah, it's a publicity stunt.
But they had video beforehand that they were doing it the same even harder than what they did on stage.
Yeah.
And it didn't break.
But could it not just be, then can people just think that, oh, that's just like a hoax or something? Like, it's not actually real video? Because, like, that's the worry that I would have if I was Elon Musk. Is that, like, yeah, I understand that it's a good publicity stunt, but if you put out the video afterwards of it doing what it's supposed to do, people could just be like, oh, it's an edited video. Because that's all we see these days is, like, edit Photoshop videos, Photoshop pictures and stuff.
But this one's coming directly from Elon Musk himself. And, you know, he has too high of a, like, more, not like a priority, but, like, he just has too much of a pride to not do something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
I guess.
look at everything else he's promised. He's promised so many things, and so far, everything that he's been saying he was going to do actually comes true.
Like, name one thing.
So, for example, the rocket, like landing the rocket thrusters.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, that's going to be impossible." Well, he did it. Like, yeah, it took a lot of tries, but I mean, do you see any other company or any other?
There's a couple of companies getting out there that are getting ready to do stuff like that.
Only because they put themselves out there to be like the person. Like, okay, for example, it's not like he promised, but like just Tesla itself, like the company, is so far in front of everyone else, automaker wise,
Right.
that they're 10 years ahead of anyone. This coming, they said June. It's supposed to have its like self-driving technology complete. They already came out.
That scares the shit out of me, by the way. I don't know if I trust that or not.
I've already ridden in 2 Teslas that does that.
And you trust the automated or like the autopilot on the highway
it will
stuff?
send something like 3 cars ahead. Like if they slam their brakes, Tesla's already slowing down, and you're like wondering why, and then you realize you're like, oh, people 3 cars ahead already slammed their brakes. It's just nuts. Like, I'm a programmer, so I know exactly how these things are working.
Right.
I'm like, okay,
I'm not an expert in any sense of the imagination when it comes to this stuff.
but it does amaze me. Like, yes, I hate to say this, but like, things have to happen in order for it to get patched. Like, as in like, so like,
Like finding bugs in the system. Like,
Yes.
the only way it can happen is by seeing an actual bug occur.
yes. So, for example,
Like the exploding batteries.
well, yeah, I wouldn't count that as a bug, but at the same time,
It's an issue, though, that they had to at least solve.
yeah. But let's put it this way: any other car company or any other thing would be that way. So, regardless, it's going to have that.
Right.
But for this is just like software related, and like you're not going to be able to capture everything. Like, yeah, people are like, oh, you should know this. Well, me as a software developer, I know that you could put all your hard work out there. You can have other people test it the way they are supposed to test it, covering every test case that there is out there, and there will be something out there that somewhere deep in the system you're like, oh, I didn't see that. Because
Didn't
I
think
mean,
of that.
you're talking about like, this is
Hindsight's always 20/20.
yeah, but in other words, the update that they came out with recently,
Right.
it shows exactly what it's going to be doing once it comes out. It has already, so like, for example, if you come up to a stoplight, it's going to show the stoplight and be like, okay, so this is red, this is where we're stopping, this is what we're doing.
Right.
And so already they're showing that this promised stuff is going to happen. So like, people were explaining the other day that the Tesla was on autopilot and ran into 2 police cars.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So, for example, they took a sample size of 5 billion miles driven by the autonomous driving by Tesla, compared to 5 billion miles compared to a normal person.
Okay.
It's already safer to do the autonomous
Making way less errors than the
Yes.
human driver is.
by a long shot. You're talking about a lot of people wrecking compared to autonomous already. So you're saying, like, people now, this is a long ways away, but it's going to be safer driving on autonomous than it will be actually with someone driving.
Unless we get into a case where we have something like Terminator and the AIs in them become self-sentient and realize that humanity is nothing but bad. But that's just a sci-fi thing right now. We're not necessarily worried about that.
Okay, for one, it's going to always be sci-fi.
Yeah.
I hate to go back to me as a programmer, but
But you are, so rightfully
it's
so.
so hard because I've done AI for like 3 years now. So I've been like working on it, been still progressing. AI is so faulty. Like it's whatever the person programs it to be. So someone could theoretically create an AI Terminator, which in China they already like have made one.
Right.
Where the robot kind of just was like, blah blah. Like they tried to shut it off, and it like it turned on, and then it linked with the satellite and started killing scientists around the room.
What?
Yeah. So
I did not hear about that.
So like this is a real case of like a Terminator sense, but it killed like 8 scientists before they could finally turn off the machine.
But if they turned it off and then it turned itself back on.
No, they didn't turn it off. That's the thing. They accidentally turned it on. And therefore, when it turned on, it
immediately linked up somewhere else.
And was like, I'm in a bad situation. So therefore, someone somewhere programmed it faulty to like not realize its surroundings and therefore literally kill other people. So it's not like it's going to be self-aware. It's just going to be like one of those where it's whoever programs it to be. So for example, the machine that not Intel but IM something.
IBM?
Yeah, IBM.
Oh, Watson.
Yeah.
Watson.
There we go.
Yeah, I know that one.
So Watson taught itself how to cuss. And as soon as they did, the programmers went in and deleted the accessibility to be able to learn to cuss.
So wait, so somebody programmed it in beforehand that it could cuss, or did it learn how to cuss based on its open programming?
Well, its open programming learned that other people cuss. It doesn't know what cussing is, but therefore it would cuss because that's just like the average person does.
So because it saw that so many people do that on a regular basis, that it thought it was a natural thing to do.
It thought that it's its normal vocabulary.
So, but it has no social context.
Never will. It just.
But then, okay, that goes back to the other part with automated driving. Is what about social context of driving?
Well, there's the thing. The autonomous can only go so far. Like for example, like a roundabout. I guarantee it's going to take many, many, many years for them to like know, because people are crazy on roundabouts. So just turn real hard.
Stupid when it comes to roundabouts, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes roundabouts are great. I think they can solve a lot of issues. But if you put them in an area where people are not exposed to them a lot, then you get into a lot of accidents and wrecks.
Okay,
you live in a bigger city than I do,
agree.
And you see lots of roundabouts and stuff. And I've driven through a couple roundabouts, and I don't know how you feel about them personally, but whenever I'm driving through one, it's a logical deduction of okay, here's when I go, here's when everybody else should go, and I don't think everybody else quite understands that, and I think that's where we get into the issue of people getting into stupid fucking wrecks around roundabouts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also comes down to like just people being stupid in general. So, like for example,
and let's clarify, not everybody's stupid. Everybody has their dumb moments, but for a lot of people, when it comes to driving, some people are not thinking all the way through when it comes to driving, or not paying attention. They're so distracted. But continue.
But people like someone I know, I'm not going to say who.
Not going to name names.
Yeah, but they literally did not stop at a roundabout. They didn't even look. They just went.
They just went straight through.
And I'm like, that's where...
You can't do that!
It's not like you got the right of way.
Right.
Wrecked their car. It's dented. And water leaks in their car now. It's just like...
Oh my gosh.
It's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is... Like, and I'm not pushing for automated AI driving, but like... That will eliminate so much
And at least
crap.
it at least would negate some of the other factors that contribute to it.
Like, okay, roundabouts are good. They save so much gas.
I agree.
I will give that to the fullest, and I love it at night where I don't have to wait on a light or anything
I
and just go.
freaking hate waiting on lights. One of the most annoying things.
Especially at night. Oh my god, where you're
Where
just
there's
trying to get
where
home.
you're the only person sitting in that spot waiting for the light to turn from red to green, and there's nobody else on any other lane anywhere, and it's just you, and you just have to sit there and wait because you're a good human being that's gonna follow the damn law.
And then you have the back thing in the back of your mind where it's just like,
Man, I could do it right now. I could do it right now. I could do it, and no one would know.
but if you do it and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, there was a
And then you
cop
just
sitting
hear wee woo, wee woo, and it's like, well, I knew I shouldn't have done that.
And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, this $200 ticket's not the best. But
Yeah, I mean, I like roundabouts, but I don't know if AI driving would solve the wrecks in there.
well, that's the thing. AI, like Tesla's coming up with, it's going to be like every other like automated driving that they've had. If it comes up to something that they know that they can't logically do completely without human help, they'll be like, you need to take over until we get past this, and then you can actually get back on
So
your way.
if the car is driving, like so you're on the highway and right now you're using autopilot in a Tesla.
Yep.
Does it stop the car whenever it says we need you to take over, or does it keep going?
It will give the driver warning.
How? But okay, like how?
It'll sense it like almost not a quarter mile ahead, but it'll sense a decent amount
Far
where
enough
you'll
distance
have
in ahead.
so much time to react.
That's what I'm asking about because like we are so inundated with distractions in today's world. Like people are on their phones driving and all this kind of stuff, like terrible decision making.
Mm-hmm.
So when does it become that they are so distracted that they're not going to hear the warning? That's what I want to know. What happens, because that is when I think it should just slam on the brakes or something.
No, because then that creates more of a danger to other people around it.
Yeah, I
So,
guess.
I mean, there's been so many wrecks because like people didn't hear the warning because they, for one, fell asleep. Two, just
Yeah, that's another thing. Falling asleep while it's autopilot.
too just distracted. Like, let's put it this way. I cannot stress how much I love the idea of this, but people just don't. Like, for example, there was 4 or 5 wrecks that people tried to sue Tesla, but then they came back with the like black box of like the recording,
the log system, whatever that they have. Yeah,
and came back and showed that they had 6 warnings before they wrecked, and they just didn't do anything to do
ignored
it.
it,
Yeah, it's one of those, like, if it can't see the lines or something, it'll be like, I know where we should be going, but I don't know 100% where.
Right,
it'll be like, please take over, and it'll be like, and literally I've seen this, it will show the entire like interior just go red and be like start blinking.
Like, hey, shit's about to go down. Wake up or whatever and pay attention right now.
Exactly. And people still are like, you'll figure it out. And then they wreck, and they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like the person getting mad at whenever the lid on the McDonald's coffee spilled on them, and they sued and they got a lot of money.
Oh my God, that is one of the stupidest things I ever have read about, heard, whatever. The fact that it says on the cup, contents are hot.
Exactly.
If you are not able to read that, then either A, you need to get glasses or get your eyes checked out or fixed, or B,
shouldn't be getting it.
Exactly. Like, I don't see how a bigger label is going to help at all. It's just a person not wanting to be observant is what it is, I think. Is that they don't care to even try to look.
Let's talk about this. So, for example, speaking of labels, each item has a specific label, like, oh, kids should not be in this like 5-gallon bucket, and you're like,
oh, it has the like
why.
warning signs of like a person like upside down or whatever.
Yeah. And then you don't think about it, but everything in that is like an actual, like something actually happened to get there. So like that kid,
Does it though?
okay, for one, most of the stuff that happens, you would never think in 100 years be like,
That
oh
somebody would do it.
yeah. And now they have to put on the label because they got in trouble for someone not getting warned because people are literally out to get money. They are literally out to get money.
Okay, I guess I didn't think about that part because in my mind, let's take the example of like those containers where it says like, warning, don't like let your baby fall in or something because they could drown or whatever. Like, obviously, well, I don't want to say obviously. Most good parents aren't just gonna let their kid roam around in wherever where there's a bucket full of water that they could dunk their head in and drown.
Well, let's put this. Well, I mean, also, I mean, you have those. Well, you have the good parents, but then also like you can't always take care like or not.
It's basically you're trying to cover all bases. You're not trying to tailor it just to the good parent or the people that are going to pay attention or whatever.
It's not like someone's gonna be like, okay, kid, you're gonna drown in here so I can get money. No, it's not gonna be like that. But
there might be some people out there that would do that. I would certainly hope not, but I
wouldn't put it past them.
There's 7 billion people in the world. I'm one of them. I'm not like everybody else. So
I don't want to find out.
I don't want to either.
But if there is someone out there, please stay away from me because I don't want to like see how that turns out to be. I just don't want to. Ooh, sorry.
I mean,
anyways, but so back onto the labels, it just kind of
it had to happen in order for it to be on there, and I get that part because some people might be trying to find a way to make some extra money.
Yeah, but it's just one of those where it's like you wonder why it's on there, and I mean that's kind of where the labels come for whenever you're like on the self-driving. I hate to come back to the self-driving, but like the labels are there for a reason, and people are just like, oh, this is bad.
It's not important. I'm not gonna listen to it.
And plus, like the self-driving is more fuel efficient than the average person. For example, you're not the autopilot is not going to just be like, I'm going to slam it from here to this next
like. Oh, I love doing that.
But at the same time, it's like so cool.
But okay, I get that it's more fuel efficient, and because I'm fully for cleaning up the environment, making it great or whatever, but at the same time, isn't it, in order to make these batteries, they have to use rare earth metals. And so when does it become that the process of obtaining these rare earth metals, the harm that comes from getting those and, whatever other process there is in obtaining it, when does that become so bad that the less CO2 emission or, less other gas emissions from an electric vehicle, when does the rare earth materials harm outweigh the benefit of the emissions that come from, or the lack of emissions that come from an electric car?
It also depends on where you're at. I mean, like, for example,
what do you mean?
Location as in so up in Indianapolis where I'm currently staying.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
In
case there are people that don't know where Indianapolis is.
Yes. But up there's a bunch of solar fields and whatnot that are collecting a lot of
I've driven
energy.
past them a few times.
Also, I mean, there's a couple power plants that are powered by natural gas, which is more
again natural, not we're not harvesting coal or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, you still have the coal aspect and whatnot, but it's just better for the environment using those things that are helping with the environment. So
using renewable energy sources.
So yeah, so up there in Indianapolis, Indiana, I mean, it's going to be easier and more environmentally friendly to use that. Now down here in Evansville, Indiana, it's going to be kind of hard to do that because I mean, currently we just have a couple solar fields and they're building more. Don't get me wrong, but
which is good.
I mean, it's still going to be better than gas because I mean, gas when it's burned through the car, it's not like it gets filtered at all going out. I mean, they may filter it
There's might be some filter, but not much.
It's not going to filter through the car. It's going to be filtered through the gas before we get it.
Right.
Therefore, it helps with the sulfur in the air and whatnot. But other than that, it's no filter. But regardless of coal and whatnot, it's still filtered as much as it can get. And also, hopefully, they don't take this down, but
hopefully
it's still going through. Like, they're still trying to collect as much like bad particles as they can. So therefore, it's getting more and more environmentally friendly. So therefore, regardless, for example, in Indy, it would take less time to outweigh the electric car or the gas combustion car within maybe 10,000 miles. Down here, it might be more like 30 or 40,000.
Right.
But still, it's going to help. And plus, I mean, look at it this way. Prius, any other car that's like still combustion is still using more, and plus each car has a battery. Therefore, you're already talking about cars being made for those batteries as well.
Yeah, but they aren't not as big. I was gonna say they're not as big, and two, I don't think they use as like rare earth materials as like the lithium like batteries from rechargeable stuff.
Yeah, but current day technology, I mean the batteries itself is getting better and better. So therefore, I mean, the time is coming where it's going to just be amazing technology where it's recyclable, where it's like reusable. Right. Therefore, it's like you can actually just do that without even worrying about any kind of harm.
Right.
Which currently somewhere in England, like I told you earlier, but I'm going to tell you guys is that some scientist came up with a aluminum battery that captures more energy, where one charge for this battery could give the car 1,000 miles before having to recharge.
That's ridiculous.
Which we're just on that road where I'm eventually going to say that you're going to charge your car maybe once or twice every 2 to 3 months. Like, it's one of those.
Right.
It's in our inevitable future, but it's more of if people are going to just admit that, electric cars are actually kind of the norm now. Mm-hmm. People are going to be like, combustion cars is the way to go. I like my loud cars with the...
Yeah, there's always going to be the, like, NASCAR. I don't see NASCAR ever going to electric unless it becomes... Okay, hang on. Before you get into whatever tangent you're going to go off of.
I'm not going to go on a tangent. I just learned something the other day that made my, like, heart just was like, they have those?
So I know that with an electric car that I don't know, like, what it is, but I saw some graph or something where, like, it was doing, like, power output, like, based on, like, acceleration.
And the
acceleration,
it's
instant
throttle.
Because there's no, like, moving parts or anything for it to, like, get going and spin up
there.
It's straight all the way. And that's what I would love about that, because I love taking off really fast and get going.
Wait till I get my Tesla. I will take you out, and you will be like, dude, I'm getting a Tesla next time I get a car.
You realize that I'm going to be slamming on the gas just to see how fast it can go.
It doesn't hurt the engine. Well, I mean, there's no engine. It's a motor. So.
Exactly. It's not a combustible engine. There's no moving metal parts. It's just, well, I don't want to say no moving metal parts.
It's just very little.
Exactly. There's nothing that in an electric car that's going to necessarily rub up against something else and cause it damage or something.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, and that's stuff that, like, we thought, or our parents and, you know, our parents' thought that it was just in sci-fi movies. And that's something that's becoming more realistic as we move through the future.
And if anyone is listening in on this, look up the 2020 Tesla Roadster.
Is that the really, like, speedy looking one, like the sports car edition looking one?
It's the, like, $150,000 one that'll go to 0 to 60 in 1.9
It's faster
seconds.
than a Bugatti. It's 0 to 60.
It's nuts. You're like, the video of it is ridiculous. You actually see it 1 second, and then like the 2 seconds that you see it, it's already gone. You're talking about 0 to 100 in like 3.5 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Jeez, that is insane.
And I mean, like, a gas, like, combustion car will never be able to do that. Like, I mean, You're getting to that point where it's just, you're finding the upper maximum of how fast cars can go in 0 to 60.
Right.
As Elon Musk said, I mean, how fast do you want to go?
Well, I mean,
in
that's
the
why
0
he's
to 60?
that's why he's developing the Hyperloop too, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he is doing that. It's just like nothing. That's where we're getting back to. He's just a complete genius. I mean, everything is just not enough for him. Which we need more people like that, where it's just like, yeah, you know, I want something more, and then someone goes after it. That's where we need people nowadays are just settling for like next to nothing nowadays, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah, and I guess also a lot of it is because our population is growing so much, there is so much more competition. And, you know, I don't know how you feel about it either, but, like, because our population is growing so much, we always hear about nowadays that, like, oh, you know, the world's going to end at this point, or, like, we're at a point of no return to help our environment and our Earth. And so people, like, we're going to Mars, apparently. We're setting up a Mars colony, and, like, somebody's trying... I can't remember who, but apparently somebody's trying to build, like, a ring world outside of Earth's... or outside of our solar system to allow people to live on away from Earth, because apparently we're not SOL.
We're not at that point. I mean, people...
If we don't do something, though, soon, we might be.
Well, that's why I'm thinking, like, Tesla, anything, like... Literally, there's
something to help.
There's green buildings coming up where literally there's a tree and everyone's like porch or for say, which I cannot wait to see.
Yeah.
I just want to see I know I'm going on an electric tangent, but like I want to see the electric.
Are you feeling electric?
I want to see the electric movement, because I mean,
sounds like the dance move to that song. What was it? Man, I can't remember that song. It was like Electric Boogaloo or something.
Oh,
but anyways.
I don't know what that is, but it doesn't sound comforting. Anyhow. But, I mean, just think about it. I mean, it would help out so much. And,
yeah.
I mean, there's just so many old-fashioned people that... I mean, so everyone that I've talked to that Brandy just goes on and like, oh, there you go, then talking about Tesla again. I was like, sorry. Every person that I've talked to is like, oh my god, Tesla this, Tesla that. Like, oh my gosh, like it's like so good, so fast, this and that, and it helps the environment. Like, like there's so many factors in this. Like, for example, looking into the Tesla like truck. Because 40% of all car emissions is from semis.
Right. But that truck that they unveiled wasn't a semi. It was like a tow truck.
No. They came out with a Class 8, like semi.
Semi truck.
Yeah. And it's able to tow as much to any other, and they have a 300 to 500 mile range.
Yeah, I mean...
And you can charge the battery in 20 minutes, or I think they said a supercharger, they can plug it in 20 minutes later, it will be at 80% capacity.
No way.
They already proved it. They already showed it. That's what I mean. Like, it's freaking crazy. Like, people complain, oh, it's going to take forever to plug in. No, if you go to any, like, Tesla supercharging station, plug it in, it's like 20 minutes.
And we need more of these stations because... Well, at least, okay, I don't know about other cities throughout the country, but at least around here, there ain't many stations.
There's no market for it down here, but if up in Indianapolis, Indiana,
there's some.
There is a lot.
I've also heard there's a lot, and this surprised me, that there's a lot of people in Austin, Texas that are... getting Teslas and stuff, because apparently they're trying to move towards green energy, which surprised me because they're the oil state or something. Like,
well, okay, this sounds like weird, but I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'll let you guys know that. But I'm like
super nerd.
That's all right. But so I'm into oil news because I honestly want oil to just kind of plummet where people don't want it anymore.
Jeez, I didn't realize how much of a nerd you were.
Well, okay. oil has created so many
Oh,
problems.
I know. It's
So-
well, I mean, that's why we had a whole war.
Unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
that's where it's like I kind of wanted just us to get
Get
away from.
rid of. Get
Not
rid of
only
it, yeah.
is it better for like the earth, like just globally and like eco-friendly, it just there's so many problems with
There's
it.
a lot of social problems that it also creates, not just environmental.
Agreed. But so even with all these like Trump trying to push all these like different like find more oil, try and get all this oil out. The rig count in the United States has dramatically dropped by like 25-30% because they're either like running out of, they're not making enough money off of it.
Right.
Two, or they're literally running out of oil. We are like pushing our limits as to how much we can get.
Well, but wasn't there a big push with coal?
What do you mean?
Wasn't he all big on coal energy or something?
Yeah, I mean he's pushing for coal, but I mean it's just like it's just because that's one of the biggest markets for his like
His platform.
yeah, because I mean people are in the laboring that wants him to be in office because
Right.
I mean like
This is the political portion of the podcast, apparently.
I'm not going into political. I don't like
Good, because
political.
I'm not a political person that
But-
much myself.
No, so but he is pushing that because that's where his vote, a lot of votes could come
Right.
from. So, I mean, all in take. I mean, he wants that, but I mean, he also wants the United States to be self-energy like reliant and not global reliant,
Right.
and that's where he's trying to push. Unfortunately, you can only grit so much out of the ground at one point in time. You
Right.
can't just be like, oh, you could dig more, but requires more people. And there's a lot of people out there that don't want to do that kind of labor. So therefore, I mean, they're moving.
I mean, it's
to
a
technology.
dangerous work environment. So, I mean, I understand that part. But
All right, time to move on.
well, speaking of self-reliant and, America in general, one of the things that we're also going to talk about is our next portion, which is FitFest. And basically, it's where we talk about any fitness or a health-related topic, idea, whatever. But one of the things that you talked about was all the people in America. And one of the things that I've recently, I don't want to say discovered, but I've seen a lot of issues about is health-related stuff and obesity in America. I mean, we have a lot of, and not that you can't fix it or whatever. You can obviously take measures into your own hand to fight, putting on a lot of weight. And not that, gaining weight is a bad thing. It's when it's detrimental to your internal organs and your health. That's when it's bad. But so as we're filming this is the 26th of December. We're almost at New Year's. And I cannot help but to think about all the New Year's resolutioners when it comes to January 1st, 2020.
Could not agree more. It scares me, honestly.
Why does it scare you?
Well, let's put it this way. When I'm wanting to work out, I mean wanting to work out. I don't want to be like, oh, I gotta wait for this machine. Oh, I'll go to the next one. Oh, there's a wait for that one. And then the thing is, the people that I am waiting on are the people that have no idea what they're doing. I understand going in there with like learning what you're wanting to do, but these are the
Right.
people that go in there for 2 months and then it's like, oh, it's warm outside. I'm going to go back to running outside or doing this outside. And it's like, no, I don't want, no. Like,
You're totally against them. You hate 'em.
I am. Because you know why? You know who the
You,
real...
you get so heated when it comes to this topic of New Year's resolutioners.
You know who the real people are. Okay, go in like the end of November.
Yeah.
Those are the real of the realists that actually work out all year round, know what to do, what their plan is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, you have these people that are like, I just want to work out just for a couple months and then like cancel my membership. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a background check here. I I've worked at Planet Fitness before, so I know how some of these go. I know how people will sign up, be like, "Oh, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to lose all this weight," and then I see them canceling it 2 months later because they've only gone in once.
Okay, I don't like New Year's resolutions that much, but I can understand part of their struggle. I am certified as a personal trainer, and one of the biggest things that I see as a problem is simply people finding the motivation. And like you said, those people that go in there and, you know, have never worked out before or whatever, but they're at least going in there to at least try to get healthier.
I
and
agree.
part of the problem that they quit in your 2-month period or whatever is because they don't know what they're doing. They're scared to ask questions, and they feel like they get criticized for being those New Year's resolutioners.
I agree on that, but there is those people that don't. I love it. I loved it when I was working at Planet Fitness and people would come up and ask me, be like, "How do you do this machine?" or "How do you do this?" and be like, "Oh, this would be awesome."
Let me ask you a question. Were those older people?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No. There was a couple
Yeah,
old people,
there was a couple.
but then there was a couple young people like just asking, be like, "How do you do this? I mean, am I doing this right? Is this
Right.
the proper way?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy to tell them. And I mean, the people that ask, like you said, are the ones that actually stick it through the 2-month period and stay there until, like, I don't know how long. I mean, I hope they stay there for as long as you can.
Right,
But-
or at least forever to stay healthy.
But those are the people that actually get their goals. I mean,
But
I don't.
But people get scared all the day of time to keep doing something that they don't know how to do. Like, I feel like, okay, I may be a little bit biased because I've been lifting for so long. I've been working out, and, you know, I've been training hard for sports, whatever it may be, just even look good.
We're training partners, by the way. Just wanted to let you know. But
Sometimes, whenever we're able to get together, but that's the other thing. Life gets busy.
life does get
Life gets extremely busy, especially in this day and world where you're always like going to do the next, like you have something to do on your to-do list, and you have to make time to work out. Like, you have to literally sit down and like literally mentally wrestle with yourself and say, all right, I'm gonna go do this thing. I'm gonna get healthier because it's what I want to do. It's a goal of mine that I'm gonna get healthier, or whatever the reason may be that you go work out. They have to mentally wrestle with themselves every day to say, all right, this is something that I'm gonna do. And a lot of people don't like to put up that fight with themselves, or they struggle with doing that and saying, yeah, I'm gonna go do this because X, Y, Z, you know, whatever reason it may be.
But that's the point. Like, the part of the reason that it's like a mental wrestle is that it's like what we've discussed before. But what I didn't realize until now, or like a couple of years ago, is that you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with.
And yeah, I agree.
So
with that.
that's why I am in wanting, not the healthiest, but I'm getting to a healthier point of my lifetime, is because I've surrounded myself with you and other people that love to be like athletic
physically
or
fit and
or
healthy and stuff. Yeah.
have goals. That's where it's like people have goals, and that, like, for example,
But then maybe it's not their fault then. Maybe it's the fact that they don't have good people to surround themselves with.
no, that's a total decision. That is a total decision.
But you can't always help the people that you're surrounded
no,
with.
you can't. But you can at least limit where, like,
Okay, you can limit the negative interactions that you can have with people. Like, the negative people right there, like, oh, you're not gonna, you know, lose any weight or change the way you like. I get that. You can limit those people. But sometimes I feel that it is hard to get those people that have the same goals as you, that are willing to push you, because that was the thing. The first week that you started working out with me, you hated it. You almost quit.
I almost quit after the first day. The first day was
were
literal torture, but
you stuck with it. But part of it was because
of you.
Oh, well, that's what I was gonna say. Part of it was because me and our other friend Peyton, we literally were like, you're not quitting. We looked at you in your face and said, you're coming the next week and the week after, and we just pounded it in you over and over again. This is what you're going to do, and here's why. Some people out there don't have the people like you had.
Yeah, but that's where personal training, like
That's where my part comes in, where I'm supposed to try to motivate them. But if people don't
Exactly.
feel comfortable enough to even do that, then how am I supposed to do that?
that's all on them. I hate to say it, but it's all on them. Like,
I feel some of it's on them, but I feel some of it is on a stigmatism that society raises.
agreed. I completely agree on that. I mean, society doesn't take kindly. For example, like, but McDonald's, like, it's so cheap to get a, like, hamburger.
It's easy. It's the easy option. And that's what...
Well, no. Just, like, even McDonald's hamburgers are cheap. Now, if you go to McDonald's and get a salad, it's like $5.
Yeah, but you also have to be careful, though, because it's not just what you eat. It's also, like, how much you eat, when you eat it, like...
There's so many factors.
Oh,
yes,
my God.
I
There
agree.
are so many factors that go into being healthy. Like, I'll be honest. There are some days I eat, like, total shit. Like, especially during the
past week.
especially during the holiday season. My family is big on desserts. They make a crap ton of desserts, and it's just sitting out there waiting to be eaten. And I can't help it. I just go and I grab some.
You know what's
But
sad?
what?
Before I came down for Christmas.
Did you gain like 5 pounds since you've been down here?
Oh yeah, no, I know the weight varies, but like, I was getting down to the 191 or like 190s, and I was like, I am getting almost like where I need to be.
No, not where
Now-
you need to be, where you want to be. There's a
Okay.
difference between being where you need to be and where you want to be.
Yeah, once, but then after it's like I'm already up in some weight, but that's okay. But no, sad part is right before Brandy's dad showed me this new like rub for grilled chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, I am in love, and I was like, this is
I don't think I've ever heard you utter those words in your
This-
existence.
especially for like healthier foods. Like this is like fresh chicken that is just like
Is it grilled?
What?
Is it grilled chicken or is it like fried?
No, it's grilled. Like,
Oh, okay.
Like it's completely like.
So it's like a dry rub that you put on.
Yeah, I put a dry rub and then like I literally placed it on the grill and then just let it cook and it's so, good.
What flavor is it?
It's so it's called like the company is called Private Selection, but
I don't know if I've heard of it before.
yeah, it's Kroger brand. It's
Oh, okay.
But anyways, it's called like a Texas rub. So
Okay, I have heard of a Texas rub before.
But man, I put that in there. I was like, I'm in love. And then I was like, I'm gonna be so healthy. I'm gonna be like, this is the turn. Like,
I'm on track. Let's go.
And then came down.
And then holiday season hit.
Holiday-
Unfortunately,
I even told myself I was gonna eat somewhat healthier. And then I was like, who am I kidding?
I was gonna say, I don't even tell myself I'm gonna eat healthy during the holiday
'Cause you
season
know it's
because
not
I know as soon as I see a specific dessert that I crave, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm definitely gonna get one now, and I don't even try to talk myself out of it. So like, I'm just gonna accept the fact that I'm gonna eat some unhealthy things. But that's going back to like those people with surrounding themselves with negative or not able to control their negative environment. There's a lot of people that as soon as they let's say they're on like a specific meal plan or something or a specific diet, as soon as they eat something bad, it's out the window. Like there's two ways that they go about it. It's either A, they are like, I am going to be super strict now from now on, and they like I don't want to say hurt themselves, but they punish themselves for having that bad meal or that cheat meal or dessert or whatever it may be that's not within their diet or at a wrong time. So either A, they punish themselves, or B, they just completely give up. And that's the thing, is like people need to realize that even if you have one bad meal or even a week or 2 weeks, it's fine. It's not gonna be the end of your fitness journey or your health journey. All you have to do is just say, okay, that was a decision I made or something that happened. I can bounce back from that. Yeah. I can, your body...
Accept it.
Accept it. Accept it and say, okay, this happened. but it's not going to ruin my goals. It's not going to ruin all the progress I've made. The only way you can actually like lose complete progress on your health journey is to completely give up.
Oh, agreed.
And that's the only and unfortunately that happens a lot of times that I see, but you just have to accept it, realize that you're a human fucking being, and just say, okay, I made a mistake. Mistakes don't make me any less of a person. I'm gonna just eat a little healthier now, or I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna get back on the same path that I was. Like, everybody takes a step off the path every once in a while. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I agree.
But those New Year's resolutioners, I think, run into a lot of those problems. And so I understand that, and don't get me wrong, I love going into the gym and being able to, like, go to whatever machine or whatever bench or dumbbell or whatever and use it whenever I can, or, whenever I need to, at whatever speed I need to go, whether it be, a lot of reps or a lot of sets, whatever, and just do that freely. But I also, part of me likes it when I do go into a busy gym and I see people working out, because I'm like, oh, they're trying to make a difference. Like, they have a goal in mind that they're trying to achieve. The only time that I don't like it...
I was going to say...
What? What were you going to say?
Please tell me you're thinking the same thing. People that are just there to be showy.
Yes. Like, okay, there's this gym back home that I go to all the time whenever I'm back at home. And there's this guy, I don't know his name or anything, so I can't name him for names, and I probably wouldn't even if I knew his name.
Yeah.
But I only see him do chest and back. I've only ever seen him do upper body. And it annoys the living crap out of me, because I'm like, what is that? Like, okay, I get that maybe your goal is to have a big chest, like it makes you feel good whenever you think your chest is looking great, like, or you get attention from girls or guys, whatever it may be. It makes you feel good for whatever reason. Agreed. And I get that. That's a lot of motivation for people, is to look good and feel good when they look good. But if you don't train all parts of your body,
you're not going to see the results you want.
Not even that. You're not being the truest sense of healthy. Like, let's say you only train upper body and you train lower body. At some point in your life, you are going to have to do something with your legs, whether it and lower back area. It's kind of connected. You're going to have to do something with those. And whether it be like lifting a box or lifting a heavy object or walking far distance or running from something, there's going to be at a point in time where you need to call on the muscles in your lower body and your lower back to do work. And there's a high possibility of getting injured from not working it out. Yeah, not working it out, because your muscles aren't trained to respond in a high manner and, put a lot of force output or strength or whatever it is. Your body's not going to be able to do it, and so it's going to result in injury. And then it leads to recovery period that's going to put you out, it could be put out of your job for a while. Like, there's so many negative things that come from not training everything.
And, I will talk about that a little bit, because, even though, you'll probably say, oh, but that's normal, but it's not normal. Whenever I had back problems, or I still do, not much anymore, but after I've gone to PT and then realized that didn't work and went to chiropractor, like, finally my back's to normal.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% back to, like, wanting to do lower back and, like, true legs. Like, I do legs all the time.
But that's the thing. You at least talk to people that know their stuff about sports science or, exercise science. And you ask them, okay, what are things that I can do to work out this area, work out these muscles, but I can't do other things? Like,
I feel like I'm neglecting, though. I feel like I'm neglecting my lower back, because every time Brandy's like, okay, we need to do back extensions. And I'm like, I'm all for that. Right. I'm all for that, because, now that I'm healthy again, it's like I want to do it. But, like, as soon as I feel like that soreness come back the next day because all the muscles around my back are just already weak. So therefore, like I get that back pain because all my muscles are weak. It's not because my back's actually hurting. It's just because everything around it's weak. But after it heals, it's good. But then my mental, like...
You're in your head a lot.
I am.
You are so bad about being in your own head. You are so bad at it, and it annoys me.
It's all right.
But I mean, a lot of people do that.
It has its... Okay, it doesn't have perks, but it has, like, sense for, like, being cautious. I'm being almost
There's nothing wrong with being cautious.
I'm almost, in other words, being over-cautious because, I mean, recently I've been...
You want to be able to walk in your... when you're 80 or something.
Okay, so when we're getting back to the whole New Year's resolution, people looking at us and whatnot, I'm used to being able to do two 45s on each side for squats back in high school.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's low compared to a lot of people, blah, blah, blah.
Everybody, you can't really compare yourself to other people. You just have to compare yourself to your progress.
According to my, like, size and everything, I should be able to.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But, like, I started so late that it was just like, I can do this. And I was going up. I mean, I may have had bad, like, form at first, and then my back, once going into college, because I stopped doing baseball and tennis regularly, that my back started to go literally to crap.
Right.
From there, my back pain, my back just went into some spiraling pain where I couldn't even sit in class. It was just that bad. And then once I got it fixed, it's just like, I don't want to go back to that. Like, I don't want to, like, weaken it where I couldn't do this. But now that I'm to that healthy stage in life where I can, like, do it. I can do it. Like, I can actually do it. I started doing 25s the other day, and then I started doing 45s for squats.
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt so proud of my life, but boy, was I looking around. I was like,
you were self-conscious. You were self-conscious that people were looking at you because they thought that you should be doing more or something like that. Is that what you were thinking?
Because, I mean, I'm doing all these other things. I'm lifting, like, pretty heavy. And then I do this, and it's like 45s. It's like, I'm thinking everyone's looking at me.
And that's what a lot of people think whenever they go in a gym, especially the people that go in there for the first time. I think everybody's looking at them.
I can understand that, but I cannot get over the fact of New Year's resolution people going there for only 2 months. 2 months. Like, you could literally have, like, even if you go, okay, for example, like, all these other places are open really late.
Right. Well, there's a lot of 24-hour gyms or whatever.
No one's going to be there at 10 o'clock at night. And you're like, well, if you really want progress, you would go there at that time.
You would make time to do it. And I understand that part. Like, a lot of it is people making excuses that, you know, they can't do it because of their job. And, like, I understand that sometimes, like, your job is how you're going to make money and, like, you know, make a living and be able to support your life and, you know, whoever else may be living with you. And I get that part. But there are some times you do have downtime or free time that you could be doing healthy things, that you could be going to the gym or exercising.
And then on other turns where you're just like, I'm going to sit on this couch, eat some stuff, and watch TV. And then fall asleep there. All that food just turns into fat because you're doing nothing.
Not quite. That's not quite the science.
No,
but I understand what you're saying.
I mean, but it's like slow and steady where it starts.
Right.
To build
You're
up.
not using it to build muscle. We'll say that much.
Agreed. But in essence, it's just like one of those things that it just bugs me.
Yeah,
okay. I get the fact. I get the whole fact that people like having a hard time trying to sack up and go there, but working at Planet Fitness, I get it, it's Planet Fitness, it's not everywhere. There's so many people that don't even make their way in.
And a lot of that is because there's a difference, and you can quote me on this because I think it's very true, and whether you believe it or not is whatever. There's a difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation's great. Motivation will get you to do something initially, it can at least get you to do something initially, but it doesn't get you to keep doing it. Discipline is what gets you to keep doing it. We motivated you at the beginning to work out and stuff. Like, we pushed you hard, and you were motivated because you saw what it was doing to us, or whatever that reason was. You saw the motivation, and at some point or another, that motivation turned over into discipline, where you said, I've done this enough. I can't just give up on it. I can't just quit on it.
Or I feel sick if I don't work. Like, for example, I haven't worked out since, Monday. Yeah, I haven't worked out since Monday.
And you feel awful now, don't you?
I feel disgusting.
Well, okay, there's body issues, and not that's bad. We'll get into that on another episode or whatever. But I understand what you're saying, and that's part discipline, where you said, I don't like not getting that relief, whatever it is that you get from.
But but from before I worked at Planet Fitness,
yeah,
I wasn't mad at New Year's resolution. I'm looking at it from your point of view. I'm like, oh, that's great. People are coming in.
You've been on both sides. You've been,
yes.
Yeah.
So after working at Planet Fitness, there is legit 50% or more people will sign up and leave. And then I see them come back 2 months later and cancel it because they haven't come in once. You're telling me you're paying this much money to start up, to go there. You don't go there once and then come back and you cancel. That drives me insane. Like, I get, yes, there's people there that come
Maybe
there.
there's factors.
But, okay, I mean, that kind of goes against what I was saying by New Year's resolution, people coming in. But at the same time, you'll see those people come in, but I will see those people come in for maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Do some things and then walk out.
I mean, you need minimum like 30 minutes to get a good workout in.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, at that point, you're just taking up like other people's time that are like really wanting to make change. Right. But I mean, at the same time, it could be just that person's point of view. I mean, it could be like they just don't know. That's
the hard thing, especially like being a personal trainer. One of the things that I struggle with is you can't get into somebody's mind. You can't, like, you can see their actions, like you can kind of guess what they're thinking, or their motives, their ethics, their values, whatever. But you can't fully get into their mind. And that's a problem, is because they could be dealing with inner demons or battles, and it's hard to sort of like pull them and be just like, hey, it's okay. I'm here to help you. Like, there are people who will come to me for help. Like, I get a lot of requests for people to help them. Like, can you give me an exercise for this? Or, my shoulder hurts doing this. And, like, I'm fine with helping with that. And that's what I love to do. But when I'm working one-on-one with a client, it's hard to find what motivates them. They could say it. They could say something that motivates them. But you never quite know if that's how strong of a motivation that is, because you're not them. You're not in their mind, and that's hard to do.
Try to do a more or less give it to them. Like, more or less not ask them out loud. Just more or less let them think of it. Just be like, okay, now think of what you're trying to strive for. Mm-hmm. Now, from that point, try to get there from where you are right now through this.
Or, like, see what steps you need to do in order to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah, and maybe that's, I don't know, that's just like, that's something hard to do because, again, and maybe it's just because communication is hard nowadays, or some aspects of it, I think, are hard, but I just think people need to get better at communicating with people and realizing that not everybody is going to criticize you or judge you. Like, some people are just trying to help.
Agreed. I mean, there are those people.
Yeah, and I think we should all at least try to be those people that don't judge. But speaking of crazy and wild things that we see in the gym, this is the last and final segment of this podcast, is What the Duck. And yes, that is a play on WTF, if you know what that means. But basically, it's where we talk about crazy stuff that we've seen, stuff that we've read, whatever it may be, crazy stories we have from our own personal life. I know you've got a ton of those. I have a few crazy stories.
of my
crazy
own.
stories.
But it's kind of just like a free portion where you talk about whatever.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But one of the things that I read recently, and I am blown away that this happened, was the have you seen the Vine or video or whatever it is about the person swinging and like you can't decide which way that they swing? You know what I'm talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're
Like, what is that? Like, okay, there was that whole debate on that dress, whether it was blue and black or white and gold or something.
Oh, you gotta love it. People loved it. Well, I mean,
Well, people love the debate. People love to debate on things.
I love when I saw that. I was like, oh, great. This is going to be another one of those. It's like, oh, come on. I don't want to see this.
It is just like, it amazes me how...
I can see it both ways. Like, it took me because I knew exactly.
I cannot see it both ways. It is only a blue and black dress to me.
Oh, no. I'm talking about
You're talking about the swing?
I can see it.
Okay,
I
the swing I can swing, or I can swing both ways. I do not swing both ways. I can see it both ways.
See it. Okay.
I can see it both ways.
Because for the longest time I was like, I don't know how you're swinging towards the building. Like, I know for a fact that it's swinging towards the camera because.
Are you sure though? Are you sure?
I am 100%.
How are you 100%? How can you be 100% sure?
Okay, I'm not going to debate on this because if you go visually from the visual perspective, like when the person with the legs is going up,
yeah,
he crosses the line. Like
he crosses the bar.
He crosses the bar. You can't see it. If he was facing towards the building, he would be hyperextending his legs.
No, not necessarily, because if he's swinging towards the building, the legs go up and the bar covers the...
bending it at that point.
What do you mean he's bending it?
Ugh.
If you haven't seen this video, you have to go see it because you can see, like you said, you can see it both ways. You can see the person swinging towards you or away from you, the camera.
Let me ask, which way do you think it's going?
Okay, from the times that I've watched it, my opinion, not gonna say that's true or not because it's my opinion, is the person is swinging towards the camera.
All right, so we're agreed on that.
But we don't know that. And the same way, well, okay, I don't want to say the same way with the dress because the dress somebody actually created, and it was either blue or black or white and gold.
I went up to some guy that works physics, like he's a physics major,
yeah,
and he explained to me why it's facing the camera in so many variables. I can't explain all these variables because I'm like, I don't know how you know.
You're just like, what the duck, man?
Yeah, seriously. I'm like,
sorry, I had to do that a little bit.
I kind of think I went well with it, but like it shows that he's facing the camera. Like if he was facing the building, because there was that light, it would throw some kind of shadow, and because of that, there was some like it was a very, very slight shadow, but
yeah.
If you use like video editing, you can like see that there's a shadow, and it shows like how you can prove that it's facing the camera. So from then and there, I
you were just like, well, it's gotta be facing the camera.
Yeah, and I mean, people will disagree with me because I mean it's their own opinions, and
people always disagree.
I mean, you can disagree with me all day. Like, I go by facts. I don't go by. I try not to go by opinions. Opinions will take a hold of me sometimes, and then I see that I'm going
you're
by
a human
opinions,
being.
and I'll be a little disappointed in myself. I'm like, I need to go by facts. And I mean, when I try to explain to people, I hate to say, I don't want to say it, but like people come up to me and try and ask, okay, so what should I do about this like situation? And it's like, okay, well,
present me all the facts before I give you any advice.
Yeah, so like I take everything that I know of the situation, how it could go, because I like to think of future different like outputs that might happen. And I mean that's kind of why I go great as a computer science software developer.
Right.
I mean I know what I'm looking for as the output, what different variables might affect it. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to know
You are
100%.
such a nerd.
Eh,
Sorry, but
to an extent. I mean,
pretty
I'm,
big extent.
well, I remember on campus some guy came up, or one of my friends came up to me. I was like, "Oh, what's up, dude?" Yeah. We started talking and whatnot, and then finally I was like, "All right, see you around, dude." And then he was like, "All right, I'll see you around, man." And the people I was with looked at me and was like, "Oh my God, you're such a bro." I was like, "What do you mean?" And they're like,
Wait, the good sense of the bro or the bad sense of the bro?
"Good sense of a bro." Like, I hate saying like. But anyways, they looked at me as a computer science major because
They
they
thought you were a total nerd and
yes.
like like the stereotypical nerd of like don't talk to anybody or like
Agreed.
"Oh, classes." Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, when I talked to one of my guys I roomed with back in the day, they were like, "Whoa, you're like this?"
We never knew this about you.
They looked at me different from then on out. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with that though.
no, but
I mean,
they were like, "Whoa, what is going on?" With
well, see,
you?
that wouldn't surprise me because I've known you for what, 15 years?
At
at least 15 years, I would say.
Oh yeah,
We've been best friends since
at least
kindergarten, first grade, somewhere around there.
I'm pretty sure
It was early school years, but we've grown up.
God, I will never
Oh my
forget
God.
the day where I farted and blamed on you, and you looked at me and you're like, "Boy, and then
Wait. When was this?
this was 3rd grade. I remember it
How the hell do you remember this? And why am I not hearing about this till now?
because I thought you remembered. I mean,
No!
we were sitting on the ground, and next thing you know, I was like it just like I farted, and it was louder than I was expecting. And all the cute girls that I thought were cute across the table was like, look at me. I was like, that was him. And
You are such an asshole.
You looked at me and you're like, that wasn't me. And then they started giggling because they knew
thought-
it was me.
No. I think they were laughing because they were laughing that it was me. I thought I remember. Now that you bring it
You
up,
were
I kind of
serious.
remember because I was mad because I thought those girls didn't like me anymore.
You were flirting with them the next day. I was just like, oh.
I was in 3rd grade. What kind of flirting was I doing? Say you want to play leapfrog or something?
Probably. You want a back rub? No.
Shut. What kind of 3rd grade did you remember? That's not the 3rd grade I remember.
No, it was like
We had presentations on
What was
what
it?
I brought to school that day.
no 4th grade. We had the.
It was the
like-
Wax Museum. 4th grade wasn't the Wax Museum? Or no, that was later.
Oh my God! No, that was 4th grade. It was scary. I didn't like that.
We went as Lewis and Clark. I remember that much. You were like, or were you Lewis or were you Clark?
I think I was Clark and
I
you
think
were
I was Lewis. And you were
You-
like, hi, I'm Clark. And I was like, I'm Lewis. And then we just like went into our presentation, whatever.
That was
Oh,
crazy
man.
because people were just like, "Oh, look at these guys," and we were like,
I don't know why we did that. I mean, like, it was good for like being able to present stuff, whatever. That was
Fourth
like
grade
such
is
a
weird.
young age.
Well, I remember that we had to keep going in this how we our lives, but 4th grade, I remember when we had to do these. I think it was 4th grade. Like it was like a science project.
Was that 4th grade or was that 5th grade? I don't know. We're getting way into too much detail
Anyways.
about our lives, personal lives.
Anyways, it was funny because I remember someone did the exact same project before me, except they did it a lot better than me. And
That's the worst feeling is when, like, especially like nowadays when you're in college and you're like, you have to present on like your topic or whatever, like your research that you've done, and you all do the same research. And then everybody else, or like let's say you're like the 4th or 5th person, and there's like 3 or 4 people that go in front of you, and they're like doing phenomenal jobs, and everybody's like clapping and stuff, and you're like,
that was so.
oh my gosh, I am not gonna be able to do it that well.
Gotta love it.
But
though.
have you ever thought though that like whenever you're listening to a presentation, that someone is just like presenting, and you're there, and you're going, I really do not care about this. Like, have you ever been in that situation where somebody's presenting on something and you're just like, twiddling your thumb or like writing
All
down
the
notes or
time,
something. Yeah, all the
unfortunately.
time. Why don't at least this is what I'm going to do from now on whenever I am presenting stuff is realize that the same feeling that you have of like I don't really give a shit or whatever while you're just listening to their presentation is probably the same reaction that they're having when you're giving your presentation. So clearly they don't care if you mess up or not. They're just thinking, okay, this person's presenting. What am I gonna have for lunch? Like they don't care.
Man, I don't know where you've been, but I've been doing that since sophomore year in college. I've done so many
Presentations and
because
stuff.
we have to build projects and show it to the
And
class.
show it to your class.
So,
We don't have to do that as much because like
back to what the duck. We need to get back to that.
we were. It's just basically whatever you want to talk about. That's what I'm saying. What the duck is. What the fuck do we do when we have that feeling of like pure panic and terror? What do we do? What do we like?
That's true.
Why do we have that reaction?
Well,
Is it something like biological from our ancestors back in like 10,000 BC or something?
I feel like it's more of just like trying to impress people. And
Maybe that's
on
what
that
it is.
note, like you kind of just like, well, I mean, these people are really thinking highly of me. In reality, they're not.
Yeah, in reality, they don't give
Who are these
two
people?
shits. It's just like, all right, that person's talking now. I don't really have to pay attention or listen, so I'm not going to.
That's the best feeling, going first. Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, okay, I go by, if I get this done, I have no more worries from here on out. I mean, so my second last week of this semester had 5 projects. 2 of them,
Lord.
2 of them,
5 projects?
all final projects. But
Sorry, I was coughing there for a minute.
2 of them were over an hour long presentation.
Hour-long presentation?
Yeah.
Did you get a snack break in between or something? Good Lord.
Presenting to a client.
Wait. Like, what are those fake clients that, like, there's
Real client.
a real client?
Yeah. So we were presenting to a real client as to...
Was it like a lottery ticket at the end? Like, they picked whoever they
Yes.
liked? And
So
that's terrifying.
we were one of the top 3 groups that they were wanting to pick.
Oh, so this was a group project that you had to do?
Yeah, it was like a group project, but it was a semester-long project.
Oh my gosh.
And we were doing good. But
Doing well.
the rest of the group, like me, was just wanting to get through this semester, even though, because we started off good, but like it started getting sloppy because, I mean, it wasn't getting sloppy. It was more of, there was problems.
There was a time crunch.
There was time crunch, and there was what the person was wanting and what we were wanting,
Right.
and there was conflicting issues.
Yeah, a
Unfortunately-
conflict of interest.
And unfortunately, when you have that, the code kind of gets a little messy. And then one of my better friends that were in the group was just like,
one of your better friends.
better friends,
Not best friend?
not best
Okay,
friend.
good. I was about to say.
She's cool.
Okay.
But she was like, I don't want my name on this project. I was like, oh, what? Is that wait, what?
that bad?
She's like, yeah, it's so sloppy. I looked into it and I was like, my section looks nice, but when I
Right.
was looking at the other ones, I was like, oh.
Well, I feel like there's always those people in the group that whenever you get in a group project, it's always there's one person who's like, all right, give me all the work, I'll do it, we're gonna get an A because I need to get an A or whatever, like I can't fail or whatever. And then there's those other people that are just like, all right, I'm not gonna do anything, blah blah blah.
That was me for one of my classes, for one of the projects.
Or an asshole. Wait, which one? Which person?
The one that did it all.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if you were one of those people that is like, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm not gonna contribute, I was gonna say you're an asshole.
I had to tell my manager, I was like, yeah, I can't work today because none of my group's doing anything. I'm not okay. I'm not gonna say because if they ever hear this, I know that they did stuff. I just worked my butt off on it.
Right.
And I know that
you wanted to see it succeed. more so than the other
The
people.
one girl that said that she didn't want her name on the project,
Want
she was in this other group as well. She's
Yeah.
the only, or she was one of the people that actually did a lot
Work.
of other work. Yeah,
She helped you out.
yeah. I mean, I think the one guy only did did the paper. That's it.
Jeez. I mean, yeah, you're always there's always
I
I feel
was
like
just
there's
like,
always gonna be those people.
Gotta be kidding me! And the other guy made a good server
Mm-hmm.
and helped with the web page, which was
Right.
really good. But I wanted help on the actual AI portion of it. AI is not the
So
easiest.
that
of things.
was your job, unfortunately.
I thought it was cool. It was just
A lot of work.
yeah. I almost exploded this computer.
You did what?
I almost exploded this computer.
How the heck do you explode a computer besides blowing it up with TNT or something?
I did some heavy computation on training for the AI model for 26 hours.
Okay, and like you're gonna have to. I'm not a computer expert, so you're gonna have to
In
explain
other
it more.
words, you don't
Why
want
does
this,
that?
You don't want this at full throttle. Like it's like a car engine. You don't want full throttle for more than so many for the car it's like more than a few seconds.
Right.
For this is more like a few hours. I had it going for 26 hours, full throttle. I was afraid it was going to explode, and then I'm not going to have a final
You get
project to turn
sparks
in.
flying everywhere, and short circuit everything.
That's why I bought a new computer, because I was like, I don't want this thing to explode. This thing does not have the computing power.
That a
It does
desktop
have
has.
a good computing power, but
But not the same level as like
as
a
PC,
desktop.
A PC.
Yeah.
A PC has more cores, more everything. Yeah, I'm sorry, nerd.
More cores.
Nerd talk. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's more processing units where you can
Gotcha.
do multiple.
Do
things
you
at
can?
once.
Okay, you can do more. It's like multitasking.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Well,
that makes more sense.
multitasking, multi-threading.
Yeah, you nerd.
Anyways,
Uh,
all right.
So I mentioned that was really terrifying. I was thinking the other day because somebody was talking to me about an interaction that they had with a ghost.
Oh God.
Well, wait. Do you? First, let me ask this: do you believe in ghosts?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because for one, when my cat stares in the corner of the room and then follows something,
Okay, no,
I'm like, what's up there?
no. Hang on. Cats are weird. I don't get me wrong. I like cats. I have cats, but cats do some weird stuff, man.
But when their eyes get big and you know that they see something,
Maybe they see a bug that we can't see.
not when there's a bug. There's no way a bug can fly across the room that quick.
I don't know, man.
Scares the living crap out
I
of
don't
me.
know. Maybe it hit a wind gust or something.
Well, okay. Let me put it this way: she doesn't do this at this new place,
Mm-hmm.
but at the old place, she did it all the time. And this place was made in like the 40s,
Mm-hmm.
so like it was freaky because she would see something, and Logan and I were like, "There's something in here."
But did you ever feel a presence per
let's
se?
put it this way: there's noise that comes from under the ground, under where the
Okay.
basement, and that's we can't get down there.
There's no like crawl space or anything.
There is a crawl space, but it's
Yeah.
it's only for like the furnace and just
Still
like
could have
pipes.
gotten in there. I feel like.
Well, it's only through our house.
So you have like a what? You have like a trap door in the middle of your house that you get to your furnace?
Yeah,
What?
it's so old school. It's 1960s,
Jeez.
and when I mean
Is that where you hide all your dead bodies?
Oh God, it scares the crap out of me. What if there is dead bodies down there? You just don't know. But that's where it's like, I do believe it. What about you? Do you believe it? I believe. Okay, I believe
Okay.
it. And there's.
Okay. Let me ask before I answer your question. Let me ask a further question. Have you had, besides the cat or whatever, and the noises that you've heard from your crawl space, have you had any other interactions with what you classify as like a paranormal
No.
event or anything?
Well, no. I mean, maybe the TV here at this place would turn on and off, and then the toilet would flush. But other than that, no.
Okay, the toilet, I don't know. Maybe it's just faulty plumbing or something. The TV, maybe it's just a short circuit or something.
Yeah.
But there was one interaction that I had, and again, so to answer your question, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, like at least evil ghosts.
Well,
There was one interaction that I had where I was in a house by myself, or it was a big house. It was actually at a fraternity house, and I was living there over a winter break to train for a sport. And the only people that were supposed to be there were like a few people that had mentioned like, hey, I need to stay here for break or whatever because they couldn't travel home or they had other obligations, whatever it was. So I was pretty sure I was there by myself, or may except for a few people. But I know for a fact that there wasn't anybody on the floor that I was living on. So on my floor, there's the kitchen, and next to the kitchen is the dining room, and then past it is the door to go out of the house. So I was going out for whatever reason, or I was going up to somebody else's room, whatever. But I had to walk past the kitchen. So I walked past the kitchen, and as I'm walking by, I hear a bunch of pots and pans rattling around. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just like somebody's in there. Somebody's in there, or a gust of breeze came in or something. Like, I was like, oh, there's got to be an explanation for this. So I walk into the kitchen, and I was like, is anybody in here? Nothing. Complete and utter silence.
did you see any of the pans?
No,
still move?
nothing was moving at all. Nothing was moving. So I walk in there, no pans moving, nobody answered me. I was like, oh, wait, there's a door down, like there's a stairs and there's a door down to it.
I
and
know what you're
opens
talking
up.
about.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe somebody left it open and, like I said, a breeze came through and knocked some things around. Went downstairs, door's locked. Absolutely nothing. Nobody was in there. There was no place to hide because I checked all the places that somebody could hide. There was nothing.
Interesting.
And I was like, well, that's weird. But I don't count that as like, I could see somebody saying that that's a paranormal activity. Because I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, you experienced a ghost. I was like, I don't know if I would classify ghosts. Well, look, here's my theory.
I feel like you're more the person that needs to see it firsthand. Like, you need to see the pan just initially just go, and then you'd be like, okay, that's a ghost.
I will say yes to that because I like to see things in order to believe them. But my other theory is that so we have all these sci-fi stuff. Like, there's other like Doctor Strange in the movie Doctor Strange. There was like this other dimension or whatever that Dormammu came from. Let's say there are other dimensions in our reality, but we can't experience them for whatever reason, or we just haven't been able to yet.
Like a deja vu moment.
Yeah. My theory is that the interaction, the paranormal stuff that we experience is people or beings from those other dimensions trying to interact in our dimension. And so the only way that they can do that, though, is by moving with material objects, but not humans.
Yeah, but
Or not other creatures. Inanimate objects, I should say. But again, that's just my opinion, my theory. I'm not going to say that it is because, again, I don't think anybody can be an expert on that.
Well, yeah, I can't say there could be any expert on that at all.
I don't know if there's a science really to it.
No, I mean, there's those fake ghost hunters, which drives me absolutely insane. But as a kid, that scared the crap out of me. But what scares me is like the video, like, for example, there's a video on Twitter that I explicitly remember that this person went into this abandoned cave, or not cave, but it was a mining.
Mine shaft.
Yeah,
abandoned mine shaft.
Yeah, and so what terrifies me is, which makes me believe in like ghosts
and other paranormal things,
is that this guy traveled not too deep into it, but like deep enough where it was dark enough where you can't see much. So there's these chains hanging from the ceiling. Okay. And you don't think much of it, but he keeps going in, and then he's like zooms in. I'm getting chills by
I can see the goosebumps going off your eyes just by thinking about this.
But he zoomed in. He was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Okay, what is that?" I was like,
you're already like crouching down a little bit.
I'm like looking in. I'm like, "What is that? Like, what is he doing?" And he finally zoomed in and like it finally cleared up. It was a singular chain around multiple and it was swinging from ceiling to ceiling. Like
Mm-hmm.
science, like physically, that cannot continually keep going before it would slow down. But there was chains on each side, like surrounding it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's that one chain just going from ceiling to ceiling, and that like, because I was like, there's no other like.
You don't think there's any
Explanation.
explanation for it, but that's the thing is where you don't see the need for any other explanation. I'm like, there has to be something.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I'm thinking that too. Like maybe there's some kind of like magnetic like pull on that one, but like if that would be pulling other ones as well. It's just like
but and again, I'm not an expert or anything, so I can't claim to be. But in my mind, I'm always just like, there has to be something that we just can't observe or we aren't paying attention enough to, and that's like.
But I mean, like, also there's there's just stuff out there that you just can't understand or fathom. Which I mean, there's like for example, when I was explaining to Brandy, that there's this new computer that I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's
It's one of those quantum.
quantum
computers.
computing.
Yeah.
Quantum computing, like something that would normally take the fastest supercomputer that can do any computation in
They
the world
do,
right
like,
now.
a fraction of the
So
time.
yeah, so it normally would take this one computation 10,000 years to compute. With the quantum computer, it can do it in 200 seconds.
Jeez, OP.
That's where it's like there's things that you can't explain. But for like the people that know that can explain that. But like I can't explain that. And there's some things that people honest to God cannot explain. How smart you can get. It's like I feel like that's one of the things, like, could be a ghost, but you can't explain it. You can't physically explain that, but at the same time you can't like not say that it's not that either. Like it's in the middle ground where you're just like, oh, it could be this or it could not be.
could
That.
be,
You
yeah.
don't know, and that's where it's like you would like to think that there's a scientifically proven thing, but at the same time, I was like, maybe.
Well, I mean, yeah, and that's like we're always making scientific discoveries, so that's why I'm always led to believe that there is an explanation for it. We just haven't arrived at it yet because we just can't explain it.
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Well, we should probably wrap up. Thanks everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of Drink and Think. We'll catch you later.
Have fun.